This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is the LG Optimus S for Sprint. This is the most affordable Android phone on Sprint, and it is the most affordable of the 3 Sprint ID phones. The other 2 being the Samsung Transform that we reviewed and the Sanyo Zio. We happen to like this best among the Sprint ID phones, even though it's the least expensive. Sometimes saving some money can actually get you some better hardware. This is very solidly built. It's not bad looking. It has a soft touch finish. It feels sturdy enough. Doesn't look cheap or cheesy. It certainly is a nicer looking piece than the Comet, and it has a higher resolution display as well. We recommend this over the Comet. And it's also the fastest among the Sprint ID phones. It helps that it's running Android OS 2.2 Froyo, which is the fastest release yet of the Android OS. The CPU that's running on is a 600 megahertz CPU without hardware graphics acceleration, so there's nothing exciting there, so most of the good stuff is Froyo. Typically, Sprint ID, since it loads a whole bunch of widgets and software packs on your phone, can slow down the phone, especially the more that you download. This one's holding up pretty well. As with the other Sprint ID phones, you see you've got a little menu bar down here for shortcut to dialer, launch your applications, and this is the Sprint ID where you pick your ID pack. So the Sprint ID software here, you have a 5-page home screen, and there's a couple of widgets they pre-installed, the weather, obviously the time's up here. Nothing here because I've actually deleted one of the pre-installed widgets. Anything you want to add or remove is standard Android. You can just put a widget of a choice here, and we'll pick something like Sprint Football Live and put that there. And then you get Sprint Football updates. And we put the Sprint ID basic pack on here, which has Sprint TV, Telenav, and the usual Sprint services, but it doesn't add a lot of extra stuff. We've got a bunch of shortcuts here which you can change as you see fit. And it scrolls quickly and easily enough. This is a capacitive multi-touch display, and it runs at 320 by 480, which is half VGA. That's kind of the standard basic Android resolution, and the screen isn't bad. It's not the sharpest we've seen, tad grainy, but again, you are paying $50 with contract for this phone, so it's not bad. We have seen worse. For example, again, I hate to say it, but the Comet with its grainy QVGA display. And this is Sprint's handy widget, the Sprint Zone, which you have access to your account here, and also you can control your wireless radios because this has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, the GPS, as well as EVDO Rev-A 3G. Take a look at the phone. You've got hardware buttons here, no capacitive buttons. You've got the standard Android home, menu, back, and search buttons. On the side here we have the volume keys. This launches voice command by Nuance. Camera button. Power button, stereo 3.5mm jack, and your micro SD card slot, which is handy over here. You don't actually have to take apart the phone to get to the card. Just pop that right out, and Sprint includes a 2 gig card with the phone. Now on the back here we've got the usual speaker and the 3.2 megapixel camera. That's, it's just okay. Again, for a budget phone, though, you're getting a lot of smartphone here. You can't expect to get a really wonderful high-end camera. And here we have the standard Froyo home screen. Other than the Sprint ID pack, which puts customized widgets and applications on here, we have standard Froyo on here, 2.2. They haven't messed with user interface in any way, so that's pretty bone stock standard. The calendar and the contacts apps, things like that, the gallery application are just basic Android. They're not different from any other non-customized Android phone. We've got the YouTube player here. Obviously we've got Sprint TV and Telenav, otherwise known as Sprint Navigation. Google Navigation's here as well, and Maps and Places. Your Gmail, and all the usual good Google services are on board. So we'll take a look at Sprint TV and see how that does. We have a pretty good 3G EVDO Rev-A signal here. Doesn't quite fill the screen, but you can see the blacks on the screen are not all that black. Brightness right now is manually set to about 3/4 of maximum. This does not have an ambient light sensor. It does obviously have an accelerometer, control portrait and landscape orientations, and it does have a proximity sensor to avoid cheek dialing when we make calls. That's not too bad for Sprint TV, honestly. I'm going to take a look at YouTube real quick. And this is over Sprint 3G EVDO Rev-A connection. We have about 2/3 of full signal strength. And I'll switch high quality mode. And it fills up the screen, it looks fine. It's not the world's most high quality video, it's a bit overexposed, but that has nothing to do with the phone. Clearly the speaker's pretty loud. And we'll take a quick look at the web browser, same Android web browser you see on all Android phones. And we'll visit our own website so you can see how it handles a full HTML site. The keyboard on here is kind of small. This is a 3.2-inch display and it's not really customized, so it takes care when you're typing. In portrait mode, landscape mode's certainly easier. Here we are loading a web page over 3G. Again, it's a half VGA display, so we're looking at 480 across right now by 320 up and down. Text is generally a little bit too teeny to read, but that's why we have pinch zooming. And then the tap zoom controls that will reflow text. Reasonable speed on the pinch zooming. And the screen is sharp enough to make text fairly easy to read. And if you use the plus button, you get it reformatted so the text fills the screen. So that's the web browser. Google Maps are of course on board too. I'll show you that real quick. Scrolling speed is pretty good and it fills in the map data quite quickly. Pinch zooming is available here too. Tap and hold to load an address. Get more options. You can see Street View. Pretty fast and responsive. And the panning controls are good here. So pretty pleasant, especially for a $50 budget smartphone. So that's the LG Optimus S on Sprint. If you're torn between Sprint and T-Mobile, you can also get the same phone basically on T-Mobile minus the Sprint ID software. Largely identical phones. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is the Optimus S.